Our story begins in the early 2000s, on a day when my mother was home alone. My father had been called away on business, leaving the house unusually quiet and vacant. Seeking solace in the silence, my mother decided to take a nap. As she drifted into slumber, she found herself in a dream. Not just any dream, but one that was vivid, tangible, and unsettling. She was sitting in the familiar pews of our local church, the hum of a sermon echoing in the background. Yet, the dream was not about the sermon. It was about the three men standing in the pew behind her. They were dressed in black suits, their faces obscured in an unnatural shadow. An air of unease hung around them, their presence a stark contrast to the holy sanctuary. One of them leaned towards her, his breath cold against her ear. What came next was not a whisper, but a growl. A sound so demonic it was as if it came from the depths of hell itself. It was a sound so terrifying it jolted her awake from the dream. But the terror did not end with the dream. As she woke, she found herself gasping for air, each breath a struggle. It was as if the room, her sanctuary of sleep, had been completely robbed of oxygen. Even our family dog, Cooper, a normally brave and curious creature, entered the room only to dart right back out, whining in fear. The house that had once been a haven now seemed threatening and hostile. Frightened and confused, my mother had no choice but to leave. She spent the entire day outside, the fear of the dream and what followed too overwhelming to ignore. Leaving the house in fear, my mother spent the entire day outside, terrified of what had happened. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of an experience that would shake her faith, test her courage, and ultimately change our lives forever. When she finally returned home, my mother called Edith, a deeply religious friend from church. Edith was a woman whose faith was as steady as a ship in calm waters, unshaken, unbroken, and unwavering in the face of the darkest storms. She had never set foot in our home, yet she seemed to know its every corner, every crevice, as if she'd lived there her entire life. The conversation between my mother and Edith was one that would remain etched in our family's history. A chilling tale of faith against fear, of light against darkness. Edith's voice, firm and resolute, filled the room as she instructed my mother to close all the curtains and blinds. She spoke as if she had seen the invaders herself, as if she had stood face to face with the sinister figures haunting my mother's dreams. In the dimmed room, Edith began her prayer, a fortress of words built to shield our home from the menacing shadows lurking outside. Her voice echoed through the phone, a beacon of hope amidst the growing dread. She declared, "You will not enter through that window. You will not enter through their back door. You will leave their property." Each sentence was a command, a line drawn in the sand, a declaration of battle against the unseen intruders. "I don't care if you have to go over the fence or through the fence, but you will leave them alone," she continued, her voice unwavering. It was as if she was staring the intruders down, her faith as her shield, her words as her weapon. It wasn't just a prayer, it was a spiritual warfare. As Edith's prayer echoed through the house, my mother sat at the kitchen table, her hands tightly clutching the phone. Her eyes welled up and the tears began to flow, a river of fear, relief, and 1,000 unspoken emotions. The darkness that had filled the house seemed to recede, pushed back by the power of Edith's words. Tears streamed down my mother's face as Edith declared that the intruders would leave our property. This was more than just a moment of prayer. It was a turning point, a battle won, a beacon of hope in the face of darkness. Edith's prayer was fervent, but what happened next was truly bone-chilling. In the midst of her fervor, Edith paused, her voice dropping to a whisper. She revealed an eerie knowledge about the three men in black suits, the same men who had haunted my mom's dream. A chill ran down my mom's spine as Edith described them, her words painting a vivid picture of these ominous figures. It was as if she had seen them with her own eyes. But that wasn't all. Edith's familiarity with our home was uncanny. She had never stepped foot inside, yet she knew the layout as well as any of us. Room by room, she navigated through our home, her guidance echoing in my mom's ears. It was as if she held a blueprint of our house within her mind, each room and corner vividly etched into her consciousness. Then came the revelation that sent shivers down our spines. She said that these intruders, these demons in disguise, had made their dwelling in the most intimate part of our home, the walk-in closet in my mom's bedroom. The same room where my mom had awoken, gasping for breath, the room that even our brave dog Cooper had refused to enter. Edith's voice was steady as she delivered this shocking news. There was no doubt in her tone, no hesitation in her words. She was certain. The demons had been living there, lurking in the shadows, unseen but always present. Now, I understand if you're skeptical. This sounds like the plot of a horror movie, too chilling to be true. But sometimes, truth is stranger than fiction. This isn't a made-up story or an urban legend. This is a real account, a slice of our family's history that we'll never forget. We were living with these unseen entities, sharing our home with them. A home that was supposed to be our safe haven was invaded by these unwelcome guests. It might sound unbelievable, but this is a true account of what happened. In the wake of such a terrifying revelation, my mother knew she had to act. The thought of living under the same roof as these menacing entities was unbearable. It was time to reclaim the house, to restore the sanctity of our home. So, she sought the help of the church, hoping to rid the house of these lurking demons. The process was a meticulous one, undertaken with the utmost care and reverence. A priest from our local parish was called in to perform the exorcism. The house was prepared for the ritual, every corner of every room bathed in holy water, every doorway and window marked with the sign of the cross. Incense filled the air, its smoky tendrils curling around the room, imbuing the atmosphere with a sense of tranquility. The priest moved methodically from room to room, reciting prayers of protection and banishment, his voice steady and reassuring. As the prayers echoed throughout the house, there was a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The oppressive weight that had once hung in the air seemed to lighten. The rooms, once filled with an unseen dread, now felt serene, almost welcoming. It was as if the house itself breathed a sigh of relief, freed from the clutches of the malevolent spirits. The ritual wasn't just a series of actions performed by a priest. It was a declaration, a proclamation of faith and resilience. It was a battle fought with words of prayer and symbols of faith, a battle against the unseen, the unknown, the unfathomable. And in the end, it was a battle won. The changes in the house were immediate and profound. The air felt lighter, the rooms brighter. The oppressive feeling of being watched, the inexplicable chills, the sudden drops in temperature, all were gone. Even our dog Cooper seemed more at ease, his behavior returning to normal. It was as if the house had been given a fresh start, a chance to be just a home again, free from the sinister entities that had once claimed it. The house was finally free of the sinister presence that had once lurked within its walls. The events that unfolded that day left a lasting impact on my family. We were never the same again. This encounter with the supernatural, with forces beyond our comprehension, changed the way we viewed the world. We were no longer the skeptical, non-believing family we had been. We had come face to face with evil, and it had forever altered our perception of reality. We began to walk a different path, one that respected the spiritual, the unseen, the inexplicable. We started to understand that there were forces in the world that were beyond our control, and that to deny their existence was to live in ignorance. We began to live with a newfound respect for the spiritual realm, acknowledging its presence in our daily lives. Our practices changed as well. We were more mindful of our surroundings, more aware of the energy we brought into our home. We started to incorporate rituals that were intended to keep us safe, to ward off any malevolent entities that might wish to do us harm. We began to understand the importance of keeping our home, our sanctuary, free from negative energy. We also started to rely more on our faith. We found solace in prayer, in the belief that there was a higher power looking out for us. We understood that faith was not just about believing in something, but about finding strength in that belief. It was about knowing that we were not alone in our struggles, that there was something greater than us, guiding us, protecting us. Our encounter with the supernatural, with the three men in black suits, had given us a glimpse into a world that was frightening, yet fascinating. It had opened our eyes to the existence of entities that we could not see, could not touch, but could definitely feel. It had made us realize that there was more to life than what met the eye. that there was a whole other realm that existed parallel to ours. This event, straight out of a horror movie, made me believe in the existence of evil. It's a chilling reminder that there are things beyond our understanding in this world.